Hello, and thanks for joining us on another episode of Andy on Stuff, the Mother's Day edition. For Mother's Day, I want to walk down my family tree and start with my mom and go all the way through it. You know, as those of you watched, I'm really interested in lots of things, but they all come through moms. Evolutionary biology has one way of working, and that's through our mothers. So thank you for joining us, and I hope you enjoy it. For Mother's Day, I wanted to take us on a little journey through my family tree. It's going to be very much like everyone else's because I had a mom and she was awesome. And she had a mom and she was awesome. And my dad had a mom and she was awesome. And it goes on and on and on. And it's a really interesting, if you have the moment, to take a look at the Netflix series Babies. And the importance of mothers, and we all know it, but to understand it at multiple levels is truly fascinating. Being a student of human evolution and all of that, it's truly astounding. So when we think about our moms, they obviously, because we're human beings, it takes 20 years plus to get us straightened out. And so our mothers have a massive influence on every aspect of us. So it's fascinating to think about all of the people, because for each of us, it's just one person, our mom. And that's amazing. My mom Ruth is alive and kicking. We just got back from Disney World. It was amazing. And then her mom. Her mom was Gladys, and I had the good fortune of knowing Gladys for the first 20 years of my life, and did amazing things, amazing adventures. It was fantastic. My other grandma, Josephine, died a year after I was born, so don't have any memories of her. It's interesting to think about because those are two women who grew up largely in the 1920s. They were little girls and coming of age, and again, they in turn raised my parents. Then you go back a generation, and it's four women. And I had the good fortune of knowing my great-grandmother, Mary Anderson. So she passed in 1977, so I was 10 years old. And I had the good fortune knowing her. I didn't know the rest of my grandmothers, though. Some passed as early as 1909. My grandmother on my grandfather's side in Sweden died in childbirth. Ella Lizzie Michael, my grandfather's mom, out in Pennsylvania, died in 1937. Minnie got close in 1964. My father's maternal grandmother, but I only got to know one. And then there was eight. And so math being math, then there was eight. And this is, these are the memories that my mother has, that my grandmother shared with me of the different folks that we knew on the immigrant side, coming from Italy and Sweden. These are names. There's no real recall. You have obviously the time period. You have the language barriers. You have all sorts of things that cut those off. But my mother shares with me her memories of Lydia Dykeman and being down in Youngers and down that way, so have lots of memories of those. But that was eight women growing up in the late 1800s, early 1900s, and you think about that time period. You think about who they were, and so there were eight people, eight women, and obviously married to eight men, and they had their respective spouses. But I've been able to visit a number of tombstones and find pictures, and it's amazing, that connection. But math being math, you zoom out a little bit further, and you realize that those eight become 16, become 32, become 64, and you realize that just in a handful of generations, less than a dozen generations, you get up into really, really big numbers. And this is what's been really enlightening to me about genealogy, because our mothers touch us in such a profound way about little mannerisms, little quirks, just the things that we know. But that comes from an unbroken chain of the same connection that we each have.
And again, within a dozen of these, it's a very easy number to think about, 12 people. Well, but 12 people in series quickly becomes very large numbers. So hundreds and hundreds of women over generations are why each of us are who we are. In the spirit of motherhood and connection, the work that my grandmother Gladys began in genealogy, I continue to try and push forward because understanding these connections that we have with all of the amazing women that are within us in a very real way, and that is truly amazing. And to my mind, as I celebrate my own mother and Jennifer as the mother of my children, and all of the moms, I do so in humble spirit, and thanks for all of the tolerance that all these generations of mothers represent. So thank you very much, and have a wonderful Mother's Day.